Welcome back. This week we have spent a lot of time on a story that could be difficult for anyone, but especially people who are sensitive to violence against children and sexual assault. An 11-year-old girl from Westminster went missing for more than a day this week, and she was later found with a 30-year-old man police say she met online. He was arrested and is facing charges for sexual assault. This is a case when an online threat became a very real threat to this child's health and safety. We want to bring in Dr. Sheryl Ziegler. She joins us as our 9 News parenting expert. And Dr. Ziegler, the online world is so big. We all live so much of our lives there now, even our kids. I'm wondering if you can walk us through talking to kids about the scary and the dangerous parts of these online relationships and just online activity.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, unfortunately, this situation this week really makes us think about that this should be an ongoing conversation. So when parents are approaching it, of course, there's different developmental levels, but we know that kids are online at 7, 8 years old, a lot of times just on their own. So you want to start off when they're younger, saying things like, hey, wherever you said you're going to be, whether that's maybe YouTube Kids or you're watching a show, that's where I want you to stay. And if you decide you're going to go somewhere else, you need to tell me about it. You need to ask permission. So, you start off kind of when they're young, telling them the basics, and then also always letting any kid know who's online. You never give your full name out. You don't give our address to anybody. You don't put your birthday on there. You don't ever, make a friend without at least letting me know about it. We'll check it out ourselves. That's across the board. And then when they get to be older, the preteens and the teens, you really need to let them know about online predators. 1 in 7 kids that are online are somehow approached by an online predator. And so it's not that uncommon. It is more uncommon to actually meet in person, which we know tends to end very, very poorly. But we need to be talking to our teens about those things. And I will say one thing that's really important is a lot of times when they're on there talking to strangers, they may feel lonely, they may feel disconnected, and that's why they're reaching out towards strangers.
Balancing trust and privacy with kids is tough, especially the older ones. When we talk about this conversation with the older kids growing into their independence, how do you keep the lines of communication open? How do you also build that trust factor of letting them have a little privacy on their own too?
Yeah, it is important to constantly communicate. And that's the thing that sometimes parents feel like, well, we had that conversation and they should have known. And it just doesn't work that way in the teenage brain. So you need to have conversations that are ongoing. You need to approach it not, really alarmist or scaring them, but very direct and honest and letting them know that, maybe be sympathetic. You understand it could be tempting to think that really is another kid your age that's in high school that just wants to be friends with you, but that you have to check those things out and that people aren't always who they say they are. You do have to remind teens of that. And, they may say, yeah, I know, and roll their eyes, but really talking to them and saying, I'm not mad at you. I won't be upset. If you ever feel uncomfortable about any kind of interaction you had with anyone online, please tell me. I really want to know. And I promise you're not going to be in trouble. I think that's really important.
Is there any other takeaways you have for parents who maybe followed this story or other stories like this this week and it's just on their minds, having these sometimes tough conversations?
Yeah, I think that, I think the biggest reminder would be if you notice that your child is spending a lot of time in their room, maybe they're a little secretive about their, content, you notice that they're hiding their phone or you come in iPad cover really quickly. Those are all signs we just can't ignore. And the truth is that really when kids are feeling maybe they're having friend troubles, other kinds of things are going on in their real life, they tend to go online and they seek things out. And so it's just don't ignore those warning signs, keep the conversations going and be really honest and open to them about the real dangers of online predators.
Okay, this is some really good information. Thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Ziegler. Have a great weekend.